You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. You shouldn't doubt yourself, 'cause you're a work of art. You should know that you are perfect with those flaws. Yeah, you better step into the...
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. Although it's a rainy Monday here in the South this morning. So, depending on where you are, I hope you are having a great Monday morning. I hope you've had a great weekend. It was like almost 80 down here this weekend. So, it was absolutely fantastic. So, thanks for joining me this morning. I appreciate it. I want to jump in. I'm going to watch my comments coming in because I know we've had several folks joining us over the past few weeks. And last Monday, we had an awesome conversation that started both on the live stream, but then continued afterwards on LinkedIn with some folks. And we had some great interaction. So I just want to make sure I keep an eye on the comments this morning for folks who are joining. But listen, today I am super excited about this topic. Quite frankly, because it's something we always talk about, but none of us really know how to manage. And that is the topic of change. We basically deal with change every day in our life. And look, COVID-19 has been its own masterclass in like the ultimate, right, sort of situation of change, the ultimate constant fluctuating change environment. We basically have been through change management for the last 2 years. And it's hard to believe that next week, actually, maybe it's even this week, is going to be the 2-year anniversary. So let's be honest, we've all been through a massive amount of change over these past 2 years. So that led me to want to talk about it this morning. And I'm actually, you stay with me for just a moment, I'm going to show you how to get a free masterclass and how to navigate change. I mean, it's so good. I can't wait to show this to you all, but hang on just a second because I know we have some folks joining. Good morning, Eileen. Thanks for joining. I see some comments coming in. I also just want to, for those of you who are new, you may not know who I am. If you're new to these videos, I am here every Monday morning at 9:30, every Thursday morning at 9:30. My name is Cicely Simpson. You can kind of consider me your career strategist. I teach and coach 5 strategies that will help you change the trajectory of your career. So what does that mean? I basically help you skyrocket your career growth. You want that leadership role? I can help you do that. Maybe you just want to have more impact and fulfillment where you are in your current role. I am coaching individuals right now who want the exact same thing. So consider me your career strategist. Consider me someone you can come to. I'd love to hear from you. But that is me in a nutshell. And so I want to go back. To this topic of change. Okay. So you may think you handle change well, and maybe you do. Maybe you do. I'm going to bring up Eileen's comment here because, yep, you are reinforcing my point here, Eileen, this morning. A free masterclass in how to deal with change. Like, there is no better way to start out a Monday morning and this week. This is why we do these Monday morning lives. Let's get ourselves ready for this week. And inevitably, you're going to go through some changes this week. I'm sure they'll happen to you personally or professionally. So let's talk about how to navigate change. Now, I want you to, if you have your iPhone,
Mic, but I haven't tried it yet. Any sync
just
issues?
drop my iPhone.
So no, this is the thing, Steve, and we
just drop my
well,
phone and turn.
I'm going to show you how to set it up so
video,
that you're
so
not
you
having
can
any
just
sync
like, just
issues, all right? And this is the whole point for me why I'm using this is I want to be able to get this.
Here. Sorry about that. All right, we're gonna go pick up your iPhone. Let me just open mine up. You guys are seeing my home screen. I don't know what video I turned on, but that's kind of hysterical. You gotta love live video. It's like I dropped my phone and I have no idea what I turned on. But anyway, bear with me. All right, if you have your iPhone, you see this right here, podcast. Open the podcast tab. And if now mine is already set, right? You see it on the screen. Mine is already set to the master class that I'm going to point you to. But if you have not subscribed, this is my podcast. It is called Pull Up Your Chair, Career Changing Conversations. And today you see right there on the screen, it says episode 6, part 1, April Rennie. April has an amazing, amazing, amazing book. Her book is called, can you see that? 8 Superpowers for Thriving and Constant Change. It's called Flux. So I interview April on the podcast. It's dropping today. Literally, the episode just hit about 45 minutes ago. This is her book. Between that book and this episode, and look, this is part 1 today. Part 2 will drop next Monday. This is your free masterclass on how to deal with change. April walks us through the 8 superpowers, how to deal with change. And look, there's a piece of this conversation that fascinates me because I've always been somebody who thought I handled change well. I've worked on Capitol Hill for a number of years, worked in DC. I've always worked in high, fast-paced environments, love change constantly with things happening during the day, just really, hyper intense environments. I've always thought I liked change. But one of the things you're going to hear April and I talk about is I like change until it hit home. Personal change versus professional change. I had a personal change a couple of years ago, a personal loss that to this day continues to just absolutely just rock my world with the loss of my father. And so April and I talk about in this podcast this morning, and I'm going to put the links below. So as soon as I hang up here and we're done here, I'm going to put the links below so you can see it. But think about that. If you think you handle professional change well, do you handle personal change well? Do you handle change at all? Look, I know some people that I'm coaching right now, they hear the word change and it's done. It's done. They immediately, I can't do it. I don't know. We have this innate fear of change, and April and I talk through that on the podcast both today and next Monday. How do you overcome that fear? Well, first of all, why are we so afraid of change in the first place? But how do you overcome that fear? How do you success? You don't have to like change, but how do you successfully navigate it? That's really why this is a free masterclass. Look, the book is phenomenal. Her book is amazing. I'm going to actually tag April in this when we're done so that she knows that we're doing this video about her book this morning. I did not tell her that. It'll be a great surprise. But between the book and this podcast is an hour long. It's 25 minutes this week, about 25 next week. I really want you guys to listen to this. If you're not on Apple Podcasts, check it out on Spotify. Check it out anywhere you get your podcast. I don't usually mention my podcast on these videos this morning, but this one is so good. I mean, listen, they're all good. Let me just run through this real quick because I just want you to go back and see if you have missed episodes. All right, you got Vanessa Bonds. That was a masterclass in influence. Her book is called You Have More Influence Than You Think. Then we had Coach Michael Burt. How do you activate your prey drive? How do you really bring your A game and go pro every day? Eileen Ryan, who's joining us this morning. Eileen basically gives you a masterclass in this podcast on how to get hired rapidly. Are you looking for a job? Listen to that podcast and reach out to Eileen. It's a phenomenal conversation. Same thing, Scotty Alpa. Scotty and I have a conversation about how he navigated the adversity of COVID-19, and he wrote a book about it. Sergeant Major Keith Craig. has been a successful, I think he actually, yeah, Sergeant Major in the Army, but then has successfully transitioned over to Disney and is a executive leader there who also has created an amazing program for how to bring, when veterans come home, how to now integrate them into business world and give those opportunities. So listen, I'm pushing this morning because every single one of these is a master class, and today it's about change. So this episode 6, April Rennie, that you see on your screen, you want to know how to navigate change, this is it. So check it out, subscribe. I don't want to tease too much because we have some more amazing guests coming up. Listen, this thing has just been awesome. I think I enjoy the interview probably more than the folks that I'm interviewing. But today we're tackling change. We're going to tackle in the coming months how to deal with addiction. There are folks who are going to be on the podcast who have really hit a moment of addiction in their career. How did they overcome it? What did they deal with it? How did it impact them personally and professionally? We're going to talk about the art of negotiation. How do you negotiate successfully in whatever situation you're in? But today we're talking about change. So just know that this podcast really is a masterclass each month and incredible, incredible topics that you need to know about. But today and next Monday, again, I'll put the links below. It's all about how to navigate change. And since a lot of you come to me talking about change, whether it's professional change or personal change, then I wanted to take the opportunity to highlight today's podcast episode for you so that you can listen to this and get April's wisdom. She's been studying this for years. And it just so happens the book came out during the pandemic. It was not planned that way. So you'll hear her insights come through and you're truly, truly, truly going to enjoy it. All right, I see we have some comments, so I'm just going to bring those up. And again, hey, live video this morning, so if you guys don't mind, I'm just going to... Got some hot tea here this morning. My throat is doing something funky. I don't know what's going on. Eileen, yeah, free masterclass. I'm telling you, this podcast is, and we're only on episode 6. This podcast has not been out that long, but it's absolutely been phenomenal. Chris says the ability to adapt during times of change is a skill you can continue to develop even if you think you're already good at it. Chris, 100%. Absolutely. We're constantly evolving. We're constantly learning. We're constantly developing new skills. Chris, and you're exactly right. How to deal with change, because change is never static. By its very definition, it's not static, but because situations of change are very different, you're right. We need to continue to evolve in how we deal with it. And I think these 8 superpowers that April lays out really does deal with a number of different scenarios for how you can navigate change. So listen, I learned a lot from this podcast. I am not going to pretend I am an expert at change. But I think her advice is just, it's just nuggets of gold. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Oh, thanks, Eileen. Thank you. I appreciate that. Looks like your podcasts are amazing. I think Eileen has subscribed to them. So thank you. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. So, all right, I am going to wrap this up this morning because I said I was going to do short this morning. And of course, I never do shorts. I get too excited about these topics. But listen, all right, I still have it pulled up on my phone. Can you see that? So the podcast is called Pull Up Your Chair with Cicely Simpson, Career-Changing Conversations. Okay? Google it. It'll pop up. Go to Apple Podcasts. It'll pop up. Go to Spotify. You can find it there. I will drop the links below so that you can have it. But please take 20 minutes this week. Just 20 minutes. If you're in the car, driving to work, if you're back in the office, take the time when you're commuting. Maybe you're on the bus, maybe you're on the metro or the train, or depending on where you live. Just take those few minutes one day and listen to this podcast. That is sort of my request, my call to action for you this week. Check out episode 6, April Rennie. Part 1 drops today. Part 2 will drop next Monday. I just think this is going to have so much benefit for you that I'm excited to share with you. Again, I don't really usually mention the podcast on here, but change is just such a prevalent topic. I mean, think about it. For those of you who've gone back to work, speaking of work, you're going through a whole set of series of changes right now. You're going from working at home back to the office. Maybe you're in a hybrid situation where you're in the office a couple of days, you're at home a couple of days. I get questions about how to navigate this hybrid environment all of the time. How do I do it? How do I show up differently? It's a lot of change going on in my company right now. What does that mean for me? Check out this podcast and you will get an answer to a lot of those questions. All right, I'm going to see if any other comments have come in. Chris, thank you for being here. Eileen, thank you for being here. You guys are always great, and your comments are always just spot on. So I don't see any others coming in. So, okay, check out that podcast. Hit me on LinkedIn Messenger, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, wherever, YouTube, wherever you're watching this today. Send me a note. I want to hear your comments about change and how you deal with change and if the podcast episode is helpful to you. I will be back here on Thursday morning at 9:30 for a different topic. And let me tell you, Thursday's topic is going to be so good. It actually came up to me from a client last week, and I can't wait to talk about it. We're going to talk about apologizing on Thursday. Over apologizing. People who apologize all the time or too much. We're going to dig into that on Thursday. So I will see you then. Have a great Monday. Check out that podcast about how to deal with change.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you